everybody, and welcome back to the WTF1 podcast, Race Week edition. The Belgian Grand Prix is here, and we are back to talk about, well, not news as such, but we're going to be doing some crazy predictions for the second half of the season and just getting ready for more heartbreak for me. But I feel like my heart's ready for it now, you know? So I feel like the crazy predictions hopefully won't all be about Ferrari, because I'm not sure I'll be able to take it. But Katie, Tommy, welcome, the WTF1 author, the WTF1 founder. How are we both? Have you survived the summer break?
Sure have. I was just waving a lot because I've been waving a lot in the audio podcast. So it's nice to actually know that it's going somewhere this time.
Oh, that's very sweet. But yeah, it's been a busy summer break, but ready for some more racing.
Lovely. But before we get into these crazy predictions, we're going to start shouting out the lovely people who give us this podcast a 5-star review. I have promised it before and never did. So this one is from Manu Sama. Hopefully I've not butchered your name. From the Netherlands on Apple Podcasts. Recently, I've been starting to listen to this show, and after every practice, quali, race, or even drama, their insights and humour are well appreciated to understand the sport better. Oh, thank you
Warms
so
your heart.
much. I can't wait for the next one. It's like 1-star review comes in from Tommy WTF1. I hate Matt. Right, here we go then. Thank you, Manu Sama. Much appreciated. We're also live on Twitch. Remember, WTF1 Official. If you want to come follow us on here, we do all the race watch-alongs, quali watch-alongs, sometimes practice watch-alongs, and we'll also react to any big news and just jump straight on Twitch and have a little chinwag with you all. So make sure to go follow us on there. Right, Katie, we're going to start with a prediction from yourself. So please, fire away.
Well, I'd just like to have a little disclaimer before I say mine. I'm really sorry to the Tifosi. I know you have been through enough.
Oh, God.
And I don't mean this in a horrible, malicious way, but I've gone for the prediction that the Ferrari drivers are going to collide at some point this season.
What a start.
Did I not say?
I'm really sorry.
Let's save the Ferrari pain for later, Katie. Straight in. No, they're going to crash.
Wow. Okay, so where's that come from? Where's that prediction based off of?
Well, I think that has come from the fact that Ferrari have mugged both their drivers off a lot in the first half of the season. Second half of the season, they're going to be quite desperate to get some points on the board, you know, make up for the points that they have lost. And in doing so, there's going to be a little scuffle between the two at some point. I'm not saying that they're both going to, you know, DNF out the race and it's going to be as crazy as Spain with Hamilton and Rosberg or Baku with Ricciardo and Verstappen, but I just have a feeling. So apologies.
Dragon Slayer in our Twitch chat just said they'll collide in Monza. Imagine. I think Ferrari would just liquidate as a business.
If that happens, I'm so sorry.
I would be the first to start the petition for them to liquidate if that happened.
Oh my God, imagine.
Ferrari drivers collide. Okay, let me just process that. Let me see how that settles with me. I feel like it's going to be one of those, if it does happen, which it better not, Sainz will be ahead of Leclerc. Leclerc will be faster. Leclerc will be going, let me through. And then the team radio will go, we are checking. We are checking. We are checking. And then he'll go for a move. And maybe there'll be a bit of wheel banging. Maybe they will both go out the race. I feel like that's the only thing to really get it as a clean sweep for Ferrari's disaster class this year, is that we need the two to collide for it to be a full house bingo. I don't personally see it happening. I don't think they're, well, maybe they are that stupid. But I don't know. I
clip that chat.
Do you think it's going to happen, Tommy?
Oh, I don't know. We've been saying it since essentially Carlos was announced there, didn't we? We're like, they're going to crash at some point, 100%. And it's still not happened. It would, like you say, be the ultimate thing to just sum up their season if they collided. I think if they did collide, it wouldn't be like a Hamilton-Verstappen thing. It would just be a little bit of wing falls off or something, like an end plate or whatever, when they just get a little bit too wheel banging and racy. But
so like kind of how it's kind of what year was it? Rosberg and Hamilton came together in Spa. Like one of them got a puncture, I think.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Sort of, yeah. Where it's tensions rise.
Yeah.
But not.
I could see that happening.
Good.
It's
That's great.
Yeah, it's quite scary that you can see that happening, but you cannot see that happening between Verstappen and Perez, especially if Perez continues on his bit of a downhill slope when it comes to performances, it has to be said. But okay, thank you, Katie, for starting that off so positively for me. Just come off summer break. First thing, Ferrari drivers will collide. Thank you, Katie. Much appreciated.
You're welcome.
Okay, my prediction. My prediction. Because a lot of people are talking about, someone finishing in front of someone else or teammate rivalries or whatever. Mine is Oscar Piastri won't get an F1 seat for next year. Not because he doesn't deserve it, but contracts can get pretty spicy. Okay. How it could unfold is that McLaren aren't able to get Oscar for whatever reason, but then at the same time, Oscar may have burnt enough bridges for Alpine to be like, no, you're absolutely not going to race for us next year now after everything that you've done. I'm not sure they're in the position to be able to do that as a team, to almost discipline Oscar Piastri that he won't drive next year. But it's that kind of thing where I'm just like, oh God, that tweet has very much burnt the bridge behind you, and hope to God that the one in front of you works out with Danny Rick taking that big paycheck and all that good stuff. But it's a crazy prediction. That's what we've been asked for. And I know people are like, you don't know, Will. The thing is, right, as we do with predictions for every single race and quali, it's a bit of fun. And I'm not saying it's 100% going to happen, but it could happen. And that's the beauty of crazy predictions.
Indeed. I feel like this could happen as well. I don't completely disagree with you here and think it's ridiculous personally, because the more it goes on, the more I'm concerned that it could be that way, where Daniel Ricciardo does just go, no, I want to see out my contract. I don't want the embarrassment of getting paid off and going back to my old team. I even question whether Alpine, if it even looks bad on them. I know they said they would want him to come back. Like they would consider taking him back anyway, but I feel like who looks more embarrassed there, Daniel Ricciardo going back or them bringing back their old driver that left them? It's not great for either party. So maybe Daniel Ricciardo just says, no, you know what? Screw you, Zach Brown. I'm staying. I'm not taking it. And he might do. And even if that means that he's sat on the grid with 3 wheels every race until he decides to leave, and that they're told the mechanics to not, put his wheels on or just completely sabotage him, which I don't think will happen. But Piastri, that tweet, it's a spicy one. And if Ricciardo does stay, I wonder how much the Williams seat as well is stayed open, because the idea was that Piastri would go to Williams and have that year before he joined McLaren, potentially, or Alpine. But that's obviously not happening now.
So what you're saying is that Oscar Piastri could have easily had about 3 F1 seats, and there's a chance that he might get none.
It's hilarious, isn't it, the way F1 works? He had no F1 seat, and everyone was saying what a joke it was. And now he's heavily rumoured at 3. One he's already turned down flat out completely. It's wild. It's such a wild thing. It's still crazy that it's happened 3 weeks on. And my God, they're going to get a lot of questions in the press conference on Thursday.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. No, I know. If I could change one thing, well, maybe not one thing, but like go back in time and say to Oscar Piastri, your tweet is fine. Just take off the last sentence of "I will not be driving for Alpine next year," because he's burnt his bridge by doing that. They might be in such a desperate state, and they said that they wanted Piastri, like they've put 4 years or something of training and aid and finance behind him to get him to this point. So there may still be something salvageable there, but like just end your tweet by saying, I'm excited to announce my 2023 plans with you soon or something. Don't burn your bridge and say you're not racing at Alpine, because this F1 driver market is absolutely crazy, as we've seen from years previous. So, but I think I'm in agree with you, Matt. I think at the moment the most likely seat is maybe Williams, but I can't see McLaren or Alpine. Like as time goes on, the more it seems to be like reaching out of his grasp, if that makes sense. But yeah,
I reckon the last bit of his tweet, he was with Fernando Alonso as he was writing it. And he said,
Fernando,
Fernando,
gun to the head.
is this tweet all right? And he went, let me just check. And then Fernando read the last bit and hit send.
Oh, wow.
And then went straight onto his Instagram and posted the story.
Yeah.
Oh God! Thing is, I wouldn't put it past Fernando having had some sway in what went on there. Like the king of the burner of bridges, teaching the apprentice Oscar Piastri.
The fact that he's burnt bridges with the team that he's gone back to twice and won both his world championships with is quite hilarious.
I find it amazing as well, like Fernando on social, after everything that went on, how he's left Alpine in the absolute mud, moved to Aston Martin, and then he'll like reply to some Alpine message on social like, hey, looking forward to this weekend and stuff like that. And you're going, not sure that's quite how you're feeling, Fernando, but he's just such a legend.
Character.
But also, big character.
As you gear up for fall, you need the right people on your team to help your small business fire on all cylinders. LinkedIn Jobs is here to make it easier to find the people you want to talk to faster and for free. Create a free job post in minutes on LinkedIn Jobs to tap into the world's largest professional network with over 30 million people in the UK. Then add your job and the purple #hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you're hiring so your network can help you find the right people to hire. Simple tools like screening questions make it easy to focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience so you can quickly prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidates you want to talk to faster, and you can post a job for free. Just visit linkedin.com/WTF1. Again, that's linkedin.com/WTF1 to post a job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Now a word from our sponsor, BetterHelp. How well would you take care of your car if you had to keep the same one for your entire life? That's how our brains work, so why don't we treat them that way? It's an interesting point, really, because how we care for our minds affects how we experience life, so it's important to invest time and care into keeping them healthy. Thankfully, there are plenty of ways to support a healthy brain, like learning a new language or taking power naps. There's also BetterHelp Online Therapy. If you've never tried therapy before, I would absolutely say it's worth a try. Just getting that weight off your shoulders is something I myself have personally experienced. BetterHelp is online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat-only therapy sessions, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. It is much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can be matched with a therapist in under 48 hours. So if you want to try it out, which I absolutely do recommend, WTF1 listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/WTF1. That's betterhelp.com/WTF1.
Right, Tommy, what's your prediction?
So speaking of Alonso, I think it's going to get saucy and bitter between Ocon and Alonso for the remaining few races. I don't know, there's no metric in there, so I'm going to say at least 3 of the last 9 races, they have moments a bit like Hungary where one of them's putting into the wall, or we hear some team radio where they're not happy with each other. I feel like Alonso now is not going to hold back if Ocon wants to get a bit too close in wheel-to-wheel combat or a bit questionable with some late moves and things. And maybe it's the 2 Alpine drivers that end up colliding. We shall see. But I think it could get... They're certainly not going to be esty besties anymore, I don't think.
Oh, it's a fair prediction. Well, I mean, to be fair, their racecraft between each other haven't exactly been anywhere near kind and thinking of the team, especially when it's Esteban Ocon. Hungary, a great example. Saudi was another good example of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's Alonso's not got any allegiance to the team now. He doesn't care. If anything, he wants Aston Martin to beat Alpine in the constructors this year. It's impossible, but Alonso's going to drive for himself. I completely agree that Ocon does not want to give up, and I think in some respects he's been quite a
disappointing team player if you're an Alpine team principal from how he's played it. But yeah, I agree. I think that will 100% end in a tangle. That's my thinking.
I think Ocon now, knowing that the seat next to him next year isn't filled yet, he's going to go quite like alpha male the second half of the season and be like, well, I'm going to be the boss. Maybe he knows that, Alonso might, start driving for himself and that kind of thing. And I think maybe his racing will become a little bit more aggressive so he can sort of show Alpine, I can be that number one seat if you need me to be. That could well result in the two of them coming together because we've seen a few examples of it so far this season. I would say that this could well happen. But anytime I think of like gets bitter, I picture like Verstappen pushing Ocon in the, like near the Weybridge thing. Like, are we talking fisticuffs between Ocon and Alonso, or is it just going to be like all smiles off the grid? And then when you're racing, it's
No, I don't think we'll even see the friendly interviews with them anymore by the end of the season. It would just
like
be
Ocon cleaning
lots of
Alonso's
team
face
radios
in the garage.
Yeah, team radio. Fair few team radios of them getting annoyed.
Sign me up. We want the
Spicy.
drama. There's a funny comment from Ricky in the Twitch chat. Alonso would purposely steer Alpine in a wrong development path. Maybe this has been the L plan the whole time. Alpine actually could have won the championship, but he decided he's going to Aston Martin from the first race.
L plan is he goes to every team, sabotages them, and then the only team left that he goes to at the end haven't been sabotaged, and they're the best team, and he wins. Like
so when he's 50 years old, he's like
103,
he'll win the title. Amazing. Good old Alonso chat. Okay, now we go over to some fan predictions. And the first one is a regular in the Twitch chat. Mega versus Primus. Mercedes won't win a race. But then we also have a prediction from DR Max 93. Mercedes can win a 9th Constructors title this season. I disagree with Mega versus Primus. I still fully believe that Mercedes will win a race this year, especially if the hype is to be believed that Mercedes will take a step forward when we come into Spa. And of course, we've got these porpoising regulations and all that stuff locked in. But no, I don't think Mercedes will win the Constructors title. I know they've picked up a lot of points, but at the same time, you have to admit they are a long way behind. Verstappen is Verstappen. Perez, yeah, fair enough, is tailing off a little bit, but I think, it's too big of a gap to close in.
I mean, if Mercedes end up winning a 9th Constructors title, that's going to be one of the greatest, comebacks in F1, considering the state of their car at the beginning of the year and all the issues they had with it. But yeah, I agree that I think they'll win a race. I think my prediction for Spa was that Mercedes were going to win in Spa, which might have been a bit... I might have been a bit overexcited when I came up with that prediction, but hey, that's just the summary of how we do our predictions on this podcast. So I think they will win a race, and I don't think they're going to win the 9th Constructors title this season. If any, I think probably Red Bull will get it again, because I think Checo is going to have full attack the second half of the season. He started off so strong at the start of this season, and I think that after having a break, he'll come back with that same approach. And then perhaps, again, slightly tail off as the second half of the season goes. But I have full faith in Checo, and I'm on the Checo chariot again, not the whatever I said, penny farthing.
Penny farthing. That was a throwback. Yeah, I don't personally, I'm going to regret saying this, but I don't feel quite so hyped about Mercedes. I think my prediction, if we didn't have so many about Mercedes, would have been that Mercedes will still be the third best car for the rest of the season. I know there's a lot of rule changes and there's been a summer break, but I think there's more fundamentally wrong with that car than just the porpoising issues and stuff. And don't get me wrong, even though they will have the third fastest car, in my opinion, still think they might edge Ferrari and beat them in the championship. And I wouldn't be surprised if Hamilton finished second in the title because he's driving superbly at the moment. So, in my opinion, I'm still really on the fence about them winning a race. I think it'd be such a shame, particularly Hamilton, because I don't want him to lose that record personally. But I think if they do win a race, it would be kind of because other drivers have fallen off the road. Maybe Leclerc's on wet tyres on a dry race and Verstappen's floors disintegrated again or something, rather than them just being the best car at a race. So I feel like they'll sneak one at least, but I can't see them being this amazing. Suddenly they're back to the old Mercedes again for the rest of the season. So,
Oh no, we don't want the old Mercedes, Tommy. We
No.
just want them to be, there or thereabouts and give us a nice little three-way fight, so that Leclerc can finish first and Verstappen sixth in every race between here and the end of the season. I think Mercedes. I said this at the start of the season. I'm still going to say it. The Mercedes will be fastest at some point during this season, and we'll see. But
Brazil, maybe it could be a good race for them.
Perhaps. Don't know. Who knows? Who knows what the upgrades are coming as well for the rest of the season, because this is the start of a new era. S04_Simon comes in with, it's another one. Fernando Alonso. Fernando Alonso will get a podium in the second half of the season. I think he's one of the only drivers probably in contention to nab a podium if there's a crazy race. I think I said this in the podcast maybe last
Hot
time
takes
out,
one,
or
yeah.
whatever, or hot takes, whatever it was. That I think, Alonso is one of those candidates for sure, because Alpine do have a decent car. They've turned up, especially in the hands of Alonso, and done some miraculous things this year. And I think there's at least one more Alonso masterclass in the tank, especially when he tells Ocon that he should go and change his tyres to a certain thing that's wrong, but just to benefit himself. I think Fernando will do everything he can to score a podium this year.
Absolute send on Ocon or something. Yeah, I'm going to stick to my opinion from that Hot Take Wednesday and say, while it's very boring and I really want to believe Alonso can get a podium, I just can't see anyone getting a podium other than the big three for the rest of the season. Lando's the only person that's got one so far. And it just comes down to the fact that it seems to take an absolute miracle for, or something absolutely crazy for Verstappen not to be on the podium. And equally, Mercedes, you're kind of relying on 4 of the top 6 cars completely disintegrating because they're just so far ahead, particularly Mercedes, that even though they've had the third fastest car, they just pop it on the podium and finish every single race, and they've had no reliability issues. So that for me is a little bit concerning, but at the end of the day, when new rules get implemented, they're normally the biggest field spread of the lot, and it's as each year goes by, they're meant to get closer. So that at least gives me some hope that we'll see it later down the line. But I just think the gap's too big for those top 6 teams, and particularly Mercedes and Verstappen will be there. And then you have to rely on, even if Verstappen isn't there, you've got to hope both Ferraris have a nightmare, or Checo, or whatever. So
thanks for fueling the hype, Tommy.
I really want it to be true, but I don't personally think it will happen. But I did say, if he does get a podium, I'll do a shoey on the stream. He gets a podium. So there we go.
Well,
What are you
thanks
shoeying?
so much. Yeah,
Beer?
Yeah.
Pepsi and milk?
Whatever. Pepsi and milk.
Pepsi and milk. Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or I don't
Come
know.
on,
What's
you got to put your
Spanish?
pilk
What did
where your
you?
mouth
What
is.
did you shoey? Just
A beer.
A beer. Okay. Yeah.
I did water.
That's so gross. Why would you shoey water? That's just going to infuse with your foot juice. At least with beer, you can get rid of the taste. As a shoey expert now.
I was going to say a shoey connoisseur.
I've done one
over here.
shoey, so I'm fully qualified to give opinions on it. But
Well, thank
Yeah.
you, Tommy, for that insight on that prediction.
Cola
in a
and
nutshell,
Mentos in a shit. Just wreck my house.
in a nutshell, don't tune into the second half of the season. That's what I would. That's what Tommy's basically said. So good, cool.
I
I'm
was
kidding.
fully on board to be like, yeah, Fernando Alonso podium. Like, that could be really random. Like, we've had so many races, especially last year, where we had crazy podium results or whatever. But after Tommy's explanation, like you say, I might just not bother tuning in for Spa anymore. It's just going to be too many things have to go
I'm
right.
not saying it won't be exciting. It's been a
No,
good season, and we've
but
had no
you're-
random podiums.
But what you say about the top six is so true. Like, yes,
So true, bestie.
Ferrari, unless they still continue to have reliability issues, will probably pick up one of the places or two of them. Red Bull are really strong and seem to have, I'm going to jinx this so badly now, but sorted out any reliability woes that they had at the start of the season.
Keep fueling that. Okay.
And Mercedes are there. So although we've seen some stunning performances from Alonso, like Australia before he had his hiccup in qualifying, or the car failed on him, I shouldn't say it wasn't his fault, and then Canada was great. So I'm like, well, he's got it still in him, and the car, when Alpine give him a car that's competent, can do good things. But yeah, I'm with Tommy. I think he's explained it well enough that maybe that dream has been crushed. So thanks, Tommy.
I've crushed the dream with facts rather than and logic rather than just being like, Alonso.
And
I
Alonso.
I want to believe, but last year so many people got a podium, didn't they? I think it was 13 drivers or something ridiculous.
Jeez.
So
and that's the difference, isn't it, between having a top two team,
top three,
top three. Yeah.
100%. You just don't ever get those races where, I mean, has anyone come close? Obviously, Lando got one, but I'm trying to think if there's even been any other moments where a driver's finished fourth and you've gone, oh, they're really close to a podium. I don't think so. So we need
maybe a different person.
Washout at Spa.
No, we don't.
2-lap race where you can't.
George Russell gets
puts on pole or something.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the only way it can happen.
Okay, well, we'll find out, won't we, in the second half of the season. Next crazy prediction comes in from the Clint Jr. Sainz will finish ahead of Leclerc in the championship. Can fully see this happening. In fact, I think it will happen. Just if the first half of the season is anything to go by, and Ferrari not having a clue what a number one and a number two driver is, considering they are Ferrari and they had Michael Schumacher in their team, there's going to be a lot of we are checkings. There's going to be a lot of signs. Leclerc potentially is going to take more penalties. I know there's already whispers about Leclerc taking a penalty into Spa and whatever. So yeah, totally. I think Ferrari, what's the point gap right now? 22 points.
What's the point?
Win. What's the point? And what is the point gap? 22 points between Sainz and Leclerc. George Russell is still ahead of Sainz in the championship in fourth with 158 and Leclerc 178. I don't care. I don't care anymore. It's fine. It's over.
I'll have a little bit of optimism for Leclerc's season. I'll say that I think Leclerc will still finish ahead of Sainz, because he's a good driver and hopefully he's had a nice reset over the summer break. And Ferrari, he's had a stern word with Ferrari and says, don't mug me off. Or
no, he's not.
You think he's too nice?
No,
he's probably like, I've written you a song on my piano.
Oh, sorry.
He's going to rock up to Spa wearing an I Love Ferrari t-shirt. And it'll be exactly the same. And they'll tell him to pit when it's raining and he'll put on dry tires. And yeah. I'm with you though. I think he has the pace to do it, even despite the fact that it always seems to be him. Well, I say it's always him. Sainz has had a bit of bad luck here and there, and his car's set on fire. And
if you've watched a Ferrari YouTube video and how many points they've actually lost,
quite a few for Sainz as well. Yeah,
about 40 odd, but Leclerc's lost 125. So
yeah, I can see it. I wouldn't be. I'd almost say it's not a crazy prediction if Sainz finished ahead, but I think Leclerc will just get it.
Yeah. It'll be an absolute travesty if Leclerc finishes behind Sainz in the championship for a second year in a row.
Yeah.
Washed.
It's going to be a really tough fight for 5th and 6th in the championship.
What is it you taught me yesterday? Not a top 100 Ferrari driver in my book. Is that what you say?
Ferrari aren't top 4
people
in my
say
book.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay, so what did you teach me yesterday?
Honestly.
Memes?
Slang.
Memes? Love it. Right, yeah, so cool. Sainz, whatever. Yeah, finish ahead of Leclerc. If he does, you will not see me next year. That'll be it. I'm over. Finished. Resigned. Sorry? Right. Brady 279. Valtteri Bottas will outdrive his Alfa to a podium. No.
absolutely not. Not a chance. No, he's washed. If anything, Zhou Guanyu will do that.
Are you
he's-
joking?
Oh, wow, savage.
No, Bottas hasn't actually been that good after the first sort of 5 races. So
His car's
No.
been a pile of poo.
yeah, exactly. So why would he outdriving his Alfa at this point is getting to 10th.
Yeah, obviously I don't think this will happen because I don't think anyone's getting a podium apart from the top guys. What I would say is I will say that I think I'm so not against this. I so think this is not right prediction. I will go as far as saying that I think Alfa Romeo by the end of the season will be the second worst car after Williams quite considerably. It's a shame because they started off so strong, and Bottas, it was really cool to see him up there, and it was a hilarious narrative, wasn't it, that he was racing Hamilton and Russell in the Mercedes when he'd got dropped by them. Sorry, moved on, as Toto said. He wasn't fired. But yeah, I think Alfa might even lose to Haas in the constructors' title, and I feel like they're going backwards, which is a shame. But they just don't seem to. They've seemed to like have been that team that we thought Haas would be, where they get loads of points at the start and then the cars just can't compete. But maybe they need Audi to buy them out, and then that's when they'll start getting good. We shall see.
Yeah, I don't know podium. I think a 4th or 5th is definitely on the cards. I mean, looking at his results from this year so far, I think it's quite harsh to say he's washed. Bahrain's 6th behind K-Mag, and then Australia 8th, Imola 5th, Miami 7th, Spain 6th, and a few other top 10 results in there. Obviously, his car has been about it's got a Ferrari PU in the back. That's all you really need to know. So I think maybe not a podium, but we'll see some good performances from him for the rest of the season. I hope.
His performances have tailed off so much since sort of Azerbaijan, where he got 11th, he got 7th for Canada, then retired in Great Britain, 11th in Austria, 14th in France, obviously DNF'd in Hungary. It's just not been.
They've been a bit anonymous, haven't they?
Yeah, they've
the
really
last
have tailed
couple
off.
maybe.
Because he'd scored 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the first 7 races. He was scoring points.
I feel sorry for Zhou Guanyu that essentially when the Alfa was quite good, he's just had really bad luck. And the fact that he's on 5 points, I don't think really does it justice that he's been pretty solid and decent this year. So it's a shame, but I just don't think Alfa are going to improve.
No. Okay, well, good luck to you, Alfa. See how you do. And the final submitted crazy prediction comes in from Legend Go Tifi. A winner besides Red Bull Racing, Ferrari, and Mercedes. No, I think we've already kind of explained why a podium may not happen. A winner would have to be something Hungarian 2021 GP-esque with Bottas, our previous prediction person, doing some more bowling. But no, I cannot see a winner. No, not a chance. I mean, if you left Mercedes out of there, you could debate that, which obviously we spoke about not winning a race. If Mercedes won a race, that would be seen as a shock.
Yeah.
Someone outside of those 3.
Yeah. I think it'd be very hypocritical if we just had that whole talk about how we don't think we're going to get any really crazy surprise podium finishes to then turn around and say, oh, but I think we'll get a winner. Because there's going to be too many variables that need to work themselves out for that to happen. So I'm going to say no, but I love the optimism and I wish it did happen because I love nothing more than a shock winner. I think F1 fans will agree, getting a random winner, it's just great. I love it. Whether that's Checo or Ocon or Gasly, it's just a really feel-good story to have somebody, for Ocon, bless him. I love him dearly, but that could be his only F1 win. Matt's nodding.
It will be his only F1 win,
but it was such a happy, lovely story. And, in F1, sometimes we have not great things happen, but then we also get magic moments like that, and it makes it all worth it. So I'd like to have that. I don't know why I've gone so
Fairy
Believe in your
tale.
hopes and dreams, guys, but
Someone needed to, because this whole podcast has basically been
Nope,
people doing
nope,
really optimistic
nope.
predictions and us going, no, it's going to be boring. Sorry. However, what I would say is, to give a bit of something nice, I think it's just as likely that we'll see a new winner as much as we'll see a new podium finisher, because, like you say, I think the only way we're seeing a new podium finisher in my mind is a crazy race. So I guess that opens up the fact that it could be absolutely crazy and it rains right at the end and all the midfield put on wet tires and the top six goes skating off the road and you get a crazy result like that. So I'd say there's just as likely to get a new winner than we are just anyone on the podium, really. But maybe it's just I do really hope we get a crazy race again. Don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah,
I think it's been a great season. I've enjoyed it. There's been I love the new cars. There's a lot of wheel to wheel battles, and there's been a lot of excitement. But I think the one thing it has lacked is like a feel good midfield. And I know that's not what the rules were meant to do. They weren't meant to close at the back. They were just meant to make the racing closer, which they have done. But I would like to see a crazy result where Yuki Tsunoda wins by 3 laps. That's all I ask.
Wow, 3 laps. So you
That's all
still
I ask.
wanted
you're
a
not
boring
wanting much, are you,
aspect.
babe?
Still wanted a boring aspect to a crazy race. Thank you, Tommy.
Yeah, Suzuka.
Lots of
Tsunoda
people
winner,
in the chat
Suzuka by 3
are
laps.
saying Seb winning Singapore. There's a lot of that in the
What?
chat.
I've seen that a lot. I know he's good at
I don't know
Singapore,
where that's
but
coming. He's in an Aston
he's
Martin.
driving a tractor. So
Yeah, I'm not sure that's going to quite happen. But
Everybody manifest.
Singapore might be a good shout actually for a
Crazy race.
crazy race, odd result.
Yeah.
Normally throws a bit of a.
Both Ferrari's
curveball.
going to collide again. Sorry, I said that really too
Please.
excitedly.
Katie, come on.
Singapore
Sorry.
Grand Prix will be the race where everything happens. So the Ferrari drivers will collide. Ocon and Alonso get bitter. Piastri
Somehow
gets announced
Alonso
he
will
doesn't
end
get
up
a
on
seat.
the-
Mercedes don't win, but somehow win their 9th constructors title. Alonso gets a podium. Sainz finishes ahead of Leclerc in the title. Bottas on the podium as well, and there'll be a new winner. There you go, Singapore Grand Prix. Don't miss it.
Wow.
There you
Can't wait
go.
for it to be the boring
Wow,
race on the
we've
calendar
really-
on the whole season. Yeah.
Switched up the hype there. But it is interesting, we speak about, I completely agree with the whole podium and winner, and it's going to have to be a crazy race. But it's funny because last year obviously we're like, oh, only 2 teams are the quickest. But the beauty of having only 2 teams are the quickest and both Hamilton and Verstappen crashing into each other was like, hey, opens the door to a new winner. But now we don't have that because they're all driving very calmly, and there's not a lot of controversy and not a lot of wheel banging between the front runners, and that's what happens. They're all defending their own little podiums. It's quite boring, actually. You know what I mean? It's very boring. No, it's not. It's great. Love Formula One. Right. Thank you so much for your crazy predictions, everybody. It's been an absolute pleasure. Tommy, final thoughts.
Final thoughts.
Ready, steady, quick.
Oh. But now if I cut all that waffle out of the podcast, no one's going to know what that was about.
No, don't cut it out. Don't cut it out.
Or just all the Ainsley Harriott chat.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to not Spa, the Singapore Grand Prix, where all this crazy
so
stuff
that was
happens.
my one.
What do you mean you're looking
Ah.
forward to the Singapore Grand Prix?
Because
No
that's
one
when
cares.
that's where all the
Yeah.
chaos happens.
No.
Ferrari colliding, Ocon.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay,
So, yeah.
all right. I'll allow it. Katie, you're not allowed to say the same thing or reiterate any kind of thoughts that Tommy just said. Katie, final thoughts.
My final thoughts are looking forward to
No, yes, Himper just said Katie will say looking forward to something, and you just fell straight into that trap.
Wow.
Yes.
I am positively excited for the press conference on Thursday because there's going to be a lot of tea to spill.
Alonso's
count?
just going to sit there, just loving life, watching it all unfold.
And my final thoughts are
Ready for
please,
more pain.
please, Ferrari, just please have a normal race with a normal strat. Just take that Pirelli tyre sheet that you get at the start of the weekend
Do
and
that.
follow it. Whatever it says is the optimum strategy, just do it. Okay?
You've
Option
got the
1,
fastest
plan
car.
A, plan A, just do it. Okay? That'll be lovely. Perfect. Well, thank you everybody for watching and listening. Watching live on Twitch if you are WTF1 official. Thank you so much. If you're not, go follow us. And thank you to audio YouTube watchers as well. Everyone, thank you all for tuning in to some crazy predictions. Enjoy the Belgian Grand Prix. We will be live on Twitch as always. We'll have lots more content for you. So follow us on all the platforms and give us a 5-star thumbs up wherever you are. Lots of love. Take care. Adios. Peace out. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.